almost every single day, somebody will post on my page or comment somewhere asking the question, how are you getting attention? How did you go viral? How is any of this possible? Because they look at me and go, "You're nothing special, and yet you got all this attention." And I've often asked that of myself, because it's an interesting question. Because, well, I'll tell you, I went to it was a little convention of influencers down in Orlando, Florida, a few months ago, and they had all these breakaway panels, talking about all kinds of different things. And one of them, which was one of the biggest attended sessions, was about how to go viral. And I attended because, although I've gone viral, I would say a couple times, it's still something you're trying to find. You're still always trying to find a way to capture more attention and garner more respect on the internet, as it were. And so I went. There was a panel, I think, of 8 different influencers that had gone viral to some degree. And they all talked about what viral video they made that created their momentum as such. And the conclusion of this 1 hour panel of 8 different influencers was, well, you just keep creating stuff until something works. And then once they see that one, then they'll go and watch the other stuff. There you go. Everything you need to learn from that 3-day conference in Orlando summed up in that. You just got to keep grinding. Well, I had been thinking about the issue, and I expected there to be different answers and other sorts of discussions, but there really wasn't. That was pretty much, that was the consensus of the entire panel, was just keep creating stuff until something works. Which is the old panning for gold mentality I've heard in comedy, which is you just keep sticking your pan in the river and hope for the best. Which can work. Don't get me wrong, and most people do it that way. Some people become famous and hit just completely by accident. Just hit at the right time. The algorithm is in their favor. They're hitting us on a subject that's hot and interesting. All kinds of factors could come into play. But in answer to your question, Stephen White, Stephen, of course, is a musician. He's on Facebook, very talented fellow, and asking that question: how does he get his page the kind of views that I get? How does he get the attention of the internet? Well, the internet is an amazing thing. Because it gives so many people a voice, and it allows so many people to really go out and find an audience, right? The problem is that there's so many people that you can kind of get lost in the draw, as it were. And so Stephen asked this question to me, honest, constructive question, and most people when they ask it, they're being a little facetious, as it were. It's like, oh, what's the deal with this weirdo? Why? I'm doing a brilliant and amazing work, and this guy's just some goofball standing in the woods. What's going on? Well, the key, actually, Stephen, is on your Facebook page. You write, we do not see the world as is. We see it as we are. It's a great quote. Great quote. It's been attributed to many people, various versions of it. But it's a great idea because that is so true. We see the world according to us all the time, everywhere. We interpret everything to fit our perception of the world because everything is about us. It really is. That's how our brain is processing everything. It's about us. And when you're creating music or art or anything that you're doing, you have to understand that people are not really attracted to you. It's not like people don't come because this guy's amazing, I love him, blah, 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 all that stuff. I've been doing this for years and no one noticed or cared. And then one day I had one video that got a lot of attention and it blew up. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, look, everybody else likes this guy. I should follow this guy. And so it really does. The success creates its own success. It starts snowballing. It's just human nature. You know, you could hear a loud noise somewhere. And if nobody, and everybody could hear it, but if nobody's interested in what's going on, we just ignore it, right? But if all of a sudden people go, oh, I wonder what that noise was, and they all start going towards that noise, then the crowd will go, oh, hey, what's going on? What's going on? We follow the crowd. People will follow a crowd. It's an amazing thing. So in answer more to your question, is that everybody looks at things and interprets them from that perspective of what it means to them. And so often the music that we listen to, the art that we were attracted to, the movies that we watch, the video games that we play, the YouTube channels that we watch, they all say something about who you are. They say something about what we think of ourselves. So when we see somebody who's confident and silly and having fun, making silly videos of filling up houses with balloons or whatever it is, right? Making all these crazy videos. You know, part of us wants to be that person. We want to be that person that has all that money and can come up with these crazy, silly ideas and has so much fun. We identify with that. We like that idea. When we hear music, that music speaks to us. It says something about who we are. It connects with us on an emotional level, and we love sharing that song with people because it says something about us. It says, "Hey, look, I'm very intelligent, sophisticated, so that's why I like this." So everything you do, when you actually put yourself out there and say, "I like this," what you're saying is, this is me. This is who I am. So when you're creating something, now here's where you can get lost in the woods. The idea is not to go out and try to figure out your audience. That's a mistake. You know, I hear people say, "Oh, you got to find your audience." Well, you do find your audience. That's not what I meant to say. You've got to relate to the audience. That's the better thing I'm trying to articulate. In fact, as comics, I hear this all the time. People say, "Oh, you got to relate to your audience. You got to be relatable to your audience," which to some degree is true. I mean, if you're performing for a group of doctors, you're going to have certain jokes that you can do, and there's some validity to that. I will agree. But ultimately, you're never fully going to connect with every single person about them personally, because you're not going to know everything about them. You're not going to understand the world they see it. But what you can do is show them something about you. You can bring them into your world. So it's not about getting to relate to all of them. It's about getting them all to relate to you. So how do you do that? Well, you get personal. You show them something about you that they see in themselves, you know. I think my video that went viral originally, it's me standing in the woods, just sort of confused because I'm trying to explain something very delicate without being political, without offending anybody. And the comedy comes from it. Basically, you end up saying absolutely nothing, stammering around, trying to figure out what's going on and trying to understand it. You don't know how to explain it. And at that point in time when that video hit, it was because people felt that same way. They felt confused. It's like, I don't, no matter what side you're on, everybody hates you. And no matter what your opinion is, somebody thinks you're a horrible, rotten, miserable person. So people were confused and didn't know what was going on. And they identified it with that video. Now, it wasn't about my sophisticated, charming looks or anything. It wasn't about being articulate. It was about expressing an emotion and a feeling that other people connected with. And that is the secret to everything you do. And it's not just videos or posts or memes or anything. It's everything and anything you do in life. It comes down to how well are you at conveying that true emotion, that thing that people can connect with. People can't connect with all of your feelings. They can't connect with how I feel about my wife. They don't understand. People will look at my wife and have their own feelings and thoughts and go, okay, whatever. But when I see her, I see everything. I see beauty. I see this woman who has been with me through thick and thin, ups and downs, and every trial you could ever possibly imagine. We've been through it all, and I see as a beautiful woman. To me, as we're getting older, age does things to you. But to me, she's more beautiful every day. Now, people may not understand how they have their own things that they find interesting in a woman. But what they can connect with is they understand that feeling. They understand that emotion that I'm conveying, so they can identify with that. When I talk about life in my videos, my goal is to express an emotion, is to express something about how I see the world and about how others can connect and see the world and identify with it, and again, it's not about me, it's about them, it's about what they see, it's about what they're experiencing, and that is the key. So whatever it is about you, it's showing the vulnerability, it's showing people a little bit about how you see the world. You're inviting them into your world and you're showing them around a little bit, and that's everything you do, everything you create. Don't make it about you, make it about them. What's the message that they can get from what you're doing? Are you just trying to show them a happy, good time? Are you trying to lament the loss of love? Are you talking about finding love? What is it? What's the emotion that you're trying to convey? And what's the power behind that emotion? What's the motivation behind it? When you find those things and you're able to convey those things, that's when you find an audience. It's not about being a very talented artist. There's enormously talented artists everywhere. Very amazing artists who don't get any attention, who are brilliant writers, brilliant performers, amazing musicians, beautiful voices. But until the audience has that emotional connection with you, you're just more noise out there. And there's so much out there. There's so much music. There's so much art. There's so much going on. So many different people, news outlets and opinions, and all of that's out there. But for some reason, certain ones connect with people. And it's being able to express yourself and show your vulnerability and convey a message that others want to hear and need to hear and want to hear. That's how you attract attention in whatever you do. Advertising, the bigger minds of advertising realize that talking about a product isn't interesting to people. People aren't interested in all the details of your product. What they're interested in is what that product will do for them. And so most advertising is about conveying a lifestyle. You know, if you buy our product, you'll be more attractive, and you'll be seen as being intelligent and lovely and desirable of the finer things in life, because you're one of the finer things in life. Because it's all the advertising about you and your emotional experience, how you feel about that product. They create a very positive, great feeling and get you to associate that with their bar of soap. So, what can you learn from that? Create an emotion. Find how to connect with your audience at an emotional level. Tell the audience who you are. Actually, don't tell them. Show them who you are. This is something I tell people in comedy. Don't get up there if you want to be the crazy wild man. Hey, you never know what I'm going to say because I'm crazy. Hey. As soon as you say that, nobody believes you, because crazy people don't know they're crazy. Crazy people think they're the most sane person in the world, and they think everybody else is nuts. They're not going to get up there and say, I'm crazy. They're going to get up and say, you guys are crazy. Let me tell you why. They're going to show you. Don't tell them, show them. Don't tell them, show them. Show them the emotion. Show them how this impacts you. Show them why it should impact them. I hope this answers your question, Stephen. I hope others find something out of this as well. I've actually want to write a book about this very subject and go into greater detail, and maybe do a longer video series about this and other interesting questions. But anyway, have a super freaking awesome day. You guys are amazing. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you've gained something from it, and I hope that it brings you joy and happiness in your pursuits for world domination in whatever it is that you do. Thank you. Good day.